There are so many potential red flags when it comes to your content strategy. And is my content actually attracting my person or is it not? And so this is a great indicator. Well, what I'm going to give you is a great indicator on whether or not that's the case. And I hope that this will serve and support you and help you to be able to self-identify. Is this me? Could this be me? And again, when I share this, I want to be really clear that I am saying this as a general rule. There is a massive possibility if you're one of my one-on-one clients, this may not apply to you, or we've talked about something like this before, but I always want you to use discernment, but this is what I see. And so I want to make sure that you are not hitting any of these red flags. And if you are, be cognizant of it and look at your content and look at what's happening and see if this is something that you could potentially need to change. Okay, so the number one red flag that I see is that you are confused about what you do. You're confused. And if you're confused, what does that mean? Your audience is also confused. Now, this confusion can come in very many different places. Maybe you sell too many things. Maybe you have too many industries. Maybe you have many different businesses. So there could be many different reasons that you're confused, and so therefore your audience is confused. But whatever that is, clean it up, because when you're solid in what you do and what you sell, you're going to see that in your content strategy. You're going to see that in your conversations. You're going to see that as you show up on video, because when you're confident about it and you're solid with it, they're going to be solid with it too. And if they aren't immediately, they eventually will be. It's just that there's been such a disconnect from the way that you show up and the things that you talk about, and that we get to figure that out, right? This is a great example of influencers. So you can be an influencer, you can have hundreds of thousands of followers, but you have you have your hands in a lot of different things. A lot of influencers have a ton of followers, but they're not making a ton of money. They're making very minimal money. And that is because they're everywhere, right? I'll promote this brand. I'll promote this brand. I'll promote this brand. Again, this is not every influencer, but this is what I've seen. And so people want to be an influencer, buy their followers or whatever to get there. And then their audience is confused. And then if they shift their business to actually sell something, they've got to reintroduce that to their audience. So this is just a great indicator. Like if you're confused or you feel like you're confused, right? Like, I don't even know what to sell today. I don't even know what to talk about today. That may be an indication that we need to narrow it down and we need to get more clear, because once you get clear, it'll show up in everything that you do. The second red flag is there is zero filling in your content. Now, here's where I see this come into play today. Before, it used to be, I just post quotes all the time and I try to give people the feel goods, but it's not really me. It's just a quote that makes them feel good. And so I see this now with people overusing ChatGPT. ChatGPT does not have filling, friends. There's no filling. There's no experience. It's just giving you some words. I think ChatGPT can be used as a great tool, but when it's overused and we're not putting any of us into the content, there is a disconnect. How can people connect? We don't want them to connect with ChatGPT, just like people aren't going to Google and connecting with Google. They use Google for a quick second, hot second. They go in, they get their information, and they move on. What you want to create in your content is a reason for them to come back, a reason for them to subscribe or follow or save, right? We want them to come back for more. And if there's zero filling in your content, you're not going to see that. And this comes from stories. This comes from transformations. This comes from experience. This comes from, client stories. So utilize the feelings, utilize you, right? Especially if you are the face of your brand, you get to be the face of your brand, or you're a brand that sells something that a lot of other people sell, right? Again, you are the differentiator. You are what sets you apart from everybody else selling the same thing. So if you have disappeared from your content, maybe it's because you love ChatGPT and you think ChatGPT sounds better. That could be true, but it's missing you. We have to keep our content humanized. I've actually been talking about a lot of clients today about this. When we use too many graphics, when we use too many, oh my God, what are they called? Stock photos. Our audience knows that. They don't say like, oh, that's a stock photo. They just don't feel connected to a stock photo. They don't feel always connected to a graphic. I think there's a place for graphics, but when you can insert you into it, you're human into your brand, that is going to pull people in, especially the more we get into AI, especially the more we get into people using AI as videos. You are the differentiator. You are, let's be honest, the hot mess sometimes. You are the one who's going to fail sometimes. People want you in your content. Plain and simple. It's the way they're going to stick around. The third red flag is that you like to put out stuff on social media and you like to tell people what to do, but you actually don't do anything that you tell people to do. Or you're not consistent with the things that you tell people to do. Meaning you're talking the talk, but you are not walking the walk. I feel like I need a mic. This needs to be a mic drop moment. If you are not embodying what you say, again, this is where imposter syndrome comes in really bad, because I am an imposter because I'm not doing what I say, right? So when you are not following what you tell other people to do, there's going to be a disconnect. Again, nobody's saying like, oh, she doesn't even do what she says. Nobody's saying that, but they feel it behind everything you do, because when you're doing the thing, right, that you're telling other people to do, you show up differently. You show up, my favorite word, solid. You show up confident. You show up with self-trust because you know you trust yourself to do the thing. And so you're not worried about telling other people to do the thing because you're already doing the thing, right? You're convicted in what you do. And that shows in everything that you do. So if you are not 100% embodying, this does not mean give yourself grace. This does not mean all in looks the same every day. It does not mean any of that. But if you are not doing the things you tell other people to do, there's a disconnect. Embody who you are and who you say you are. Don't just pretend, embody it. And then number 4 red flag, you're not making any sales. Like it's complete crickets. Complete crickets. You can barely get people to show up for a free thing. Now, here's the difference. Even if you have low sales, your content strategy is probably pretty good. We just get to amplify it in some way. So there's some sort of disconnect there. There's something that's just not clicking with some people. And this could also be, when we get to number 5, could be a red flag. But if you're getting some sales, this is positive and this is really good. And I mean sales outside of your family and your best friends. Okay, people who have found you on the internet. If you're getting sales from those people, then that's really good. Even if it's not the amount you want, because we can work with that. We can tweak what we have and we can improve on that. And it's just really taking an audit of your own content and seeing what's pulling them in, what's not. When am I getting sales when I post XYZ? Like, and this can also be that you just don't talk about your offers enough. It could be as simple as that, but we're talking about red flags of your content and attracting raving fans. So it could just be as simple as, you know, I tell my clients today, if you've talked about your Black Friday offer, good. Now do it again and again and again and again. It is Black Friday week, people. We got lots of noise. The fact that I have people on here live right now is huge. There's a lot of noise happening this week, okay? And then number 5 red flag that your content strategy needs an overhaul and you are not attracting raving fans is that you are not consistent. You're not consistent. Why is it so important to be consistent? Because when you consistently show up online, do you know what people think? Oh my God, if she shows up this much for free, what does she do in her programs? What does she do when I become her customer? What does she do when I walk in her shop? It's an indicator that you're dedicated, that you're solid, that you mean what you say. You show up, whether people are watching or not. You show up, whether you're getting instant gratification or not. You show up because it's part of who you are. It's part of the value you want to share. It's part of the service part of business, right? We serve in business. We serve online, and it's part of that. And so these are the 5 red flags. So if you feel any of these, again, use discernment, take a look at everything. Can I improve here? And here's the other thing. All my successful clients, all my successful coaches, guess what? We are constantly refining and tweaking our content. I will never be done taking content courses. You know why? Because that's how I get better. I only get better if I continuously pour into myself and learn. Because somebody can see something that I don't see. And that's the same thing I do for my clients. They're like, can you look at my content? I'm like, send it over. Let's do it. That's how we get their reels going viral. That's how we get all of these things happening. But you've got to find somebody to tweak it and refine it for you, or really be like, separate yourself from it where it's not me. This is my content. Let me look at it. Where can I change? Where can I shift? Where can I tweak? Where can I refine? And using these red flags as an indicator of where you can improve. All right. So who has work to do? We are going to talk about all of these things. If you're not already inside of Raving Fans 3.0, we officially start tomorrow, although there's lots of bonuses that have dropped over the weekend. So if you want information on that, make sure you drop Raving Fans in the chat and I will get that for you as soon as possible.